Hello, you guys.
And welcome to the Woman's
Cave.
You see what Shannon did today? I did because my bangs are messed up, so I gotta try to put it in yes, I'm so self-confident.
Really? You think it's because you? I think they look cute.
No,
especially the one that looks like a windshield wiper.
Yo, it's just windshield wiper. I'm trying so hard.
Just move it to the side. I think it missed the corner. I'm sorry.
You know what?
I'm not gonna make fun of
you. You know what?
Although I have to say, you threw a lot of shade at me of late.
Well, because you deserve it. You were acting crazy. So I was like, she acted like she don't know.
Really? Oh, wow.
Because the champagne wars are over. So now she's acting insane.
Yeah, we have moved on from the champagne wars. I'm very happy. So I'm getting an ice cream machine, so now it's my person. I have all the the advantage. Yes, that's what it is.
God, this stuff's too late in the morning to have an advantage. I just go right on out there and use it, clean it up before she even got up.
Jade, I feel like you're revealing secrets, and we will discuss this off air.
Oh, yeah, but I'm Jade, and that's Winona.
I'm Winona.
Yeah,
I remember twice because I'm a narcissist.
So high five. Social distance. Absolutely.
All right, we wrote books.
I know we wrote a lot of them, so you can check out. And I thought Divorce Was Bad, and I thought Being Grown Up Was Easy, which has a new redo, y'all. I redid the cover. I'm so excited. And that will be available on audible.com and anywhere, Amazon, I guess, also. And then The Misfit Guys.
There's 13 of the Anti-Plot series. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's so many. I didn't even want to say it today. and then we have one of our departure books, All Poetry, If Only I Were Me, available on BarnesandNoble.com. And we are the co-founders of the 25 hottest.
We are the founders.
Well, we co-founded it
together. True.
Okay, Mona.
25 hottest.
Indie authors, artists, and advocate. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com.
But you're not here to hear about us.
You're here to hear from our wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Tochi O, author of Riot Baby. I like, long walks by the park with my mask on, of course, because you got to be safe, but you can also stunt on them. I also love video games, and today is a particularly good day because a video game very, very, very close to my heart, or at least the sequel to a video game very, very close to my heart, dropped today and arrived in my mailbox. The Last of Us Part 2 for PS4. I cannot wait.
We'll make this fast.
I know, right?
Obviously,
he should have said that.
He needs to be playing video games.
He should have said that before we started. So we could have just been like, we need to make this 5 minutes because video games. That's important.
I know people who they save up their vacation and that's their week off. That's it.
So, yeah. So let's just talk a little bit about what you do so we can carry this interview along.
How did you get started in writing?
So it actually, you can blame my mom because originally I was going to be a comic book artist and I loved to draw. Mom had this second job where we would clean offices and she would take us kids all along. And I was the oldest of 4. And all these office spaces had these 3-ring binders that they were getting ready to throw away. They would be filled with paper. And they were just going to get rid of them. And mom started collecting them. And I would draw in them. And these binders would have 500 sheets of paper in them. And I would fill them up in a week and a half. So one day, I might have been in 3rd or 4th grade, maybe. And she's watching me work. And she goes, Tochi, you have all these characters. Why don't you write stories about them? And at the time, I was like, Mom, why are you giving me homework? Can I live? I literally just want to draw. But I started writing what were essentially 1-paragraph summaries of their adventures. And 1 paragraph became 2, became 3. And then they started meeting each other. And I was like, oh, this is low-key fun. Okay, I think we're onto something here. And then fast forward to 7th grade. Now, in Nigerian households, your grades determine your worth and your ability to stay in the family. A is, of course, you're being a dutiful child. B stands for we can do better. Um, C, you should see your way to a new family. Like that's basically how that worked. And so seventh grade comes along. I had my very first creative writing class. So this is the first time that storytelling is part of the curriculum. And I discovered very quickly that class for me was an easy A. I could be relied upon to bring home maybe the highest grade in the class time after time after time again. And so you had this virtuous cycle where it was this thing that I already enjoyed to do, and I got the external validation of approval from my parents, and I was just off to the races. So that's how that started, and I discovered that I wanted to do this for a living at a very early age. I think it was sometime in high school when I was reading this fantasy book, The Dragon Reborn. And I remember it was during spring break because I was laid out on the couch and I had the book. It was like one of those thick, like 800, 900 page hardcovers that I checked out from the library. And I had it held up in front of my face. I had forearms like a longshoreman from holding up books like that. And I finished the book and I closed the cover and I could still see the final scene like in front of me, like it was a vision. And I was like, wow, this is extraordinary. Wait a second, somebody did this to me. And so that was the first indication I had that there was like somebody behind the curtain, that books didn't just like appear, people made them. And so right on the heels of that thought was the thought, wait a second, I can do this to somebody else. And then that essentially set me on my quest to become a writer.
Okay,
I
you
love
said,
that.
okay, yeah, Jade, do
No,
you have a question?
No, that's all I was going to say is I love that, and now I'm done.
I just want
Keeping it short, man. Video games.
Yep. Okay, so I think everyone wants to know, before we get into the meat of the subject, how did you land a full-time writing gig? How do you do this freelance full-time writing gig?
So I actually have only been freelance since March of 2019. And by then, I had published 2 books and had already signed a contract for 3 more. And so what I did was I'd been working full time, my entire adult life. And when I first started writing, I was like, okay, like this will be the thing that I love, but I'll have the day job because it's the regular income. But then when books started coming out, I was very fortunate that my publisher would send me out on tours. And so I was going all across the country and sometimes even out of the country to promote these books. And I discovered that when it came to writing and editing, touring, and the day job, I could do 2 out of those 3 things really, really, really well. But when it came time to do all 3 at the same time, that was when things started to, not necessarily work out. So I made the decision that I would save up enough money to make sure, and I'd been saving money this whole time, but I would save up enough money to make sure that I could get to a place where I could spend an entire year just writing. And if I didn't make a dime off of that writing, I would still be okay, right? Like that was the cushion that I wanted, was to be able to have that security. And when I reached that magical number in my savings, I was like, okay, I'm ready to make the leap. And so, it wasn't as though I like signed my first book deal and was like, flipped the table and walked out. Like it was more gradual than that. And I think that's the most important part, was I had that financial cushion. And because mom, she's a widow, she can't bankroll my writing career, I didn't really have any other, financial support to fall back on or anything. It was something that I had to create myself. And so once I'd done that, I was like, okay, I can make the leap. I can throw myself fully into this. And I have not looked back.
That's amazing.
That's fabulous.
I love the fact that you said 2 out of those 3 you can do well. Jade, don't we have stories about that? That's hilarious. But we're not going to talk about them because video games
are important.
Quick. Okay, I'm a little distracted. Just quickly, how great is tour life?
Oh my goodness. So like there's a lot less of it going on now for obvious reasons. I don't know when I'm going to feel comfortable getting on a plane again, to be perfectly honest. But tour life was wild. Like it was so much fun. I would go to all these events and festivals, and it was wonderful because it was direct fan interaction, right? Like there was that, but also, you know, like, and I grew up, mostly in a single parent household. And so like I'm getting flown to all these places and these hotel rooms are just like, wow. Like there was one point when I was touring for my first book, I believe, we were doing a multi-city tour over the course of, I think, like a single week. And there was one spot in Chicago. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it was like my hotel room had a hotel room. It was wild.
I love that. Have you had the one with the sauna yet?
That's the life.
No, I haven't gotten sent to a place with a sauna yet.
You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there, and you're gonna love it. And yeah, tour life.
Okay, the problem is this. Okay, so you get the place with a sauna, and then you get back to your room. You're like, I could go to the pool, and then you get back to your room. You sit in the sauna because this is the time I'm like, I'm gonna go to the pool, relax for like 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna go to my room and start writing.
Nona doesn't not ever plan a tour where you get to relax for 30 minutes. You better be half dead and in the daggone hospital with the eye out your arm, and she'd be like, we can roll this on out here. You'll be fine. Get on this tour. Let's get it.
Wow.
I do relax. But then, like, the problem was I ended up in the sauna, and then we ended up, like, 15 minutes late because, you're just sitting there chilling, relaxing, enjoying. Next thing you know, you're napping. You wake up. You recognize your writing time's gone. Your makeup chair time's looking. Well, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm very low maintenance in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll make
the makeup artist is still outside. Like, what's going on? You're like, it was a sauna, man.
It was a sauna.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you had a sauna, you would understand. You would understand.
Right. You would understand.
Anyway, so let's talk one more thing about this, then I'm done.
Oh my goodness! Remember he has video.
I remember he has video games, so we only answered like 2 more questions. All right. So, number one, I just wanted to say what is awesome is like the whole tour life thing is when you wake up and you don't know what city you're in.
Or what time zone.
Oh my goodness, that's such an amazing fit. I'm like, wow, so this is what Drake feels like all the time.
Right, because you wake up and you're like, what time zone?
What country is this?
What country? But then again, it was really fabulous is I love hotel staff that you call the night before and you say, listen, just leave the coffee outside the door at 6 a.m. I'm not going to be up, but I just need it brewed. Like, that's it. That's it. And so you wake up and you're like, what time zone am I in? Open door. And then you're like, I don't care. I'm just going to reach my hand out and get the coffee.
Yep.
There it is. And you have to brew it yourself or want to get it? That's life.
That's what I was going to say. When you wake at home and you're like, all right, where am I? And you're like, I'm home. And everyone's like, you must love being home. I'm like, no, because breakfast isn't downstairs. Or
like I have to make my own breakfast when I'm at home. Like why would I love being
and I have
home?
to schlep to the kitchen, like half asleep to make my coffee. And I do say schlep because it's I'm not awake. I am literally dragging my feet and being like on button.
Yeah, no, you're like Bigfoot or Sasquatch when you get out of bed and you just gotta like stumble like you're some sort of monster that came out of a different plane or whatever. You're not even fully awake, not even fully human. I know that feeling. I woke up with that feeling yesterday.
And the worst part is you have to write after that. You're like, oh crap, I do have to write.
And then because you're never home, you don't really set your timer to your coffee pot. So you are smart enough to set it up the night before, but you're not smart enough to set the timer. So you still have to schlep. And you're like, I can't take it anymore.
Anyway.
When am I going on tour?
We did get to try. Yeah,
we did.
You literally ask that all the time. Don't you ask that? You're like, so when is the next tour? I'm ready to get out of here.
I need to eat. What that I don't make at all. Or buy at the store.
Thank you so much. There's not many authors we could talk about with that.
Yes. So we actually have real questions.
Yeah.
So as you started to be, I told you we get distracted on travel. As you started on your writing career, you started very, very young. How did you keep yourself motivated, and what are the top 3 things that you would tell others?
So one of the ways in which I keep myself motivated is I'm constantly reading. And one of the things that does is that, those are creative inputs that I wouldn't be exposed to otherwise. And there are other ways of seeing the world, other visions. There are people with just different life experiences and different imaginations that I can constantly draw from. Another thing too is that I'm always learning from those books. If there's a particular element of craft that I want to try to figure out, if there's oh, I want to figure out how to plot a heist, I'll read a novel with a heist in it. Or if I want to study particular character work, I'll read a novel that I know has very interesting character work. If I want to look at books with unconventional structure, I can find a book that does that. And I'm constantly learning and taking notes and trying to figure that out. Also, too, it just exposes me to really beautiful writing. And it's like when you're outside and you see a particularly beautiful sunset. It's like a natural wonder to me when you read certain books and you come across a sentence that literally takes your breath away. It's such a specific feeling, and I live for that. So I think those are really important things for me with regards to staying motivated. But also too, there are books that I'll read and I'll be like, wow, I really wish I'd written that book. I'll get jealous that the other author did it, but the other author did it so well that I'll be like, okay, all right, you did that, you get that, yeah, I'll give you that. But in terms of what I would tell others, I would just say love writing, right? So, there's so much rejection and, there's so many obstacles that can get in the way of you being able to do this for a living. Just so much. I'd been trying to get published for 15 years before my first novel got published. And in any other profession, whether you're a plumber, firefighter, teacher, whatever, if you're trying to do a thing for 15 years and everybody's saying, nah, this ain't it, chief, you decide to do something else. You're like, oh, maybe this just isn't the career for me. But I just loved writing so much that it never occurred to me to not write. Whether or not I was ever going to be published, I was always going to be writing. And I think if you have that will take you a long way.
I have a 3-part question.
No, you can't have a 3-part question because we spent a lot of time. So that maybe you have to come back.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
No, this is game day. No, sir. You will not be staying on this program. I like you very much, and I wish you well. But listen, you can come back anytime. But this is game day. It is important. Okay. So last question: where can people find out more about you online and your book?
Absolutely. Y'all can find out about me and my books at my website, tochionyebuchi.com. That is TOCHIONYEBUCHI.com. Y'all can also find me on Instagram at Trey64. That is TREIZE64. And y'all can find me with the Fuego takes on Twitter at Tochi True Story.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on, especially on this important day. We appreciate it very much.
Thank
Jade,
you.
would you like to wrap?
Absolutely. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com. While you're there, take a moment, go to the Ladies tab, go to the middle of the page, and see the charities that we proudly support. Maybe you can support them too. Yes, we know that times are hard, and so money might not be a thing for you. But maybe if you have some extra things that you were thinking about donating, maybe you want to donate it to them. Or if you just go on their website and you see the work that they're doing and you think that it's wonderful, just write them an email to that. It's like, hey, I see your work. I see you. Thank you for doing it. We thank you, and I know they'll thank you. And just remember, wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona
and Jade. Bye-bye.